It is so exciting that the team behind What We Left Behind, the Deep Space Nine documentary, is now making a documentary about Star Trek Voyager. If I had to convince someone who's never seen Voyager to watch it, I would tell them that Voyager features strong, smart women in charge, making decisions and leading the way. For women who are interested in the STEM fields, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, Voyager is this inspiring show that really showcases how women can do anything. Janeway is the captain of a starship. Seven of Nine leaves the Borg Collective and has to become an actualized human being. Even though she started as a person, she has to learn how to be a person. And that's a compelling storyline. There's so many great characters in the show. B'Elanna Torres, who is a Klingon, but also has to work with all these people she obviously thinks are idiots, and she puts up with them because they need to get back to Federation space. Being lost in space is not what anybody would consider a good time on Star Trek Voyager. And of course, it's different than other Star Treks because unlike TNG or TOS or DS9, these people are not just on a mission to find strange new life and discover new civilizations. They're not guarding a weird wormhole in space. They are lost in space. They're in a do or die situation. And in these do or die situations, you end up having to make totally different decisions about first contact, exploration. But you also have this whole other storyline with the Maquis. These people that kind of rebelled from Starfleet and went off to do their own thing in space, but then by happenstance and being lost in space, their goals of getting back to civilization align with each other. And these two groups of people that started as enemies have to become friends, have to become a crew, and work together. You can binge watch Star Trek Voyager on Netflix or one of the many streaming services. I think it's on Peacock now also, maybe. It's hard to keep track of what various services there are, but just Google, how can I watch Star Trek Voyager? You will find it, you will watch it, you will love it. And Janeway is such a badass. Not only does she break all the rules of space and time to get her crew home while being chased by the time police who have like a rap sheet on her. They're like, watch out for Janeway. She does not respect the laws of space-time. And Janeway's like, no, I do not respect the laws of space-time. I have to get this crew home. So really, Star Trek Voyager is this beautiful testament to what women are capable of and how women are just as capable as men. We also get interesting and unique storylines. Like in The Next Generation, they kind of rehabilitate a Borg named Hugh. Well, they call him Hugh. And he ends up going back to the collective, and you never get a real sense of what his life is like after he's encountered these autonomous beings. But Seven of Nine has a whole character arc where she has to disengage from the Borg, she has to learn how to be a person, she has to learn to accept her human emotions, and it actually very much mirrors the human journey of growing up. You're born a person, but you still have to learn how to be a person, how to deal with your feelings, how to interact with your peers and your coworkers, how to adapt to the society that you live in. And so in that way, Seven of Nine's journey is such a humanistic, unique, but universal experience. Also, if another season of Star Trek Voyager was going to get made, I would really want them to address that Harry Kim, who was never promoted, he's on the ship, he saves people's lives all the time, but he's Ensign Kim all the way to the end of the show. I want Harry Kim to finally get his promotion, maybe a lieutenant, finally, after all these years. But there's another loose end that I want to see wrapped up, which is that in one episode, Harry Kim dies and is replaced by a Harry Kim from another parallel universe. Kind of like in yesterday's Enterprise, they get a new Tasha Yar to replace dead Tasha Yar in Star Trek The Next Generation. But they never really address that the Harry Kim that's on the ship on Star Trek Voyager is actually Harry Kim #2. He didn't grow up with this crew. He grew up with another crew on another version of Voyager in a whole other parallel universe. And when he gets back to Earth, is that weird? Does he have a different relationship with his parents or his girlfriend or other people he knows? Does he have to pretend to know what's going on because in his universe he actually had a totally different interaction with these people? So a new season of Star Trek Voyager should address Harry Kim's long neglected promotion, as well as seeing Admiral Janeway become the Admiral that we know she is, because in the movies later they talk about her as Admiral Janeway. And I really want to see how the time continuum has changed, because Janeway broke all the rules. But she broke the rules to save her crew. She broke the rules because she's a great captain. She broke the rules because she knew it was the only way to get everybody home. And in that way, Janeway is the captain you would want to serve under, and maybe the mother figure that you wish you had had. A woman who would be willing to break all the rules to literally save your life. So Star Trek Voyager is one of the greatest Star Treks, and of course one of the greatest science fiction shows out there, and you should binge watch it all immediately. See the journey of these people from explorers to badasses. Janeway and Tom Paris de-evolve into amphibian-like creatures and end up mating and having strange amphibian babies. We never find out what happens to those amphibian babies. So if you guys decide to reboot or do a follow-up of Star Trek Voyager, please tell me what happens to the Janeway Tom Paris amphibian babies. The last loose thread that I want to see wrapped up is in Star Trek Voyager. The Voyager ends up in the middle of a war between the Borg and species 8472, which is kind of like the alien from the Ridley Scott Alien movies franchise. And I want to see those aliens become Borgs. I want to see their big gangly arms and giant heads in the Borg cybernetics. And I want to see them finally play it out. We really never know what happens to these aliens, although the Star Trek game finally gives them the name of the Undine, but these aliens need to come back into play. I need to know what happens with them, what happens with the Borg, and maybe species 8472 and the Borg team up to destroy Earth. Wouldn't that make a great movie? Yeah, it would make a great movie. You're welcome!